listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Hello and welcome back to Grave Discussions. I am your host, Barnabas.
And I am your co-host, Samuel. Welcome to episode number 42, 2018, the year's top screams.
Oh yeah, this is our very last episode of 2018.
Yes, and you know, we're at 42 weeks in a row. We're at the beginning of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
When did we start this? 2017?
No, earlier this year.
Was it earlier this year?
It feels like it's
longer,
been going longer, yeah.
How many weeks in a year? I'm a dumbass. I don't know these things.
I don't, dude.
55? I don't fucking know.
I think it's like 52 or something.
Whatever. But yeah, we've almost been doing it for that long. We're 10 weeks short of a year.
Yeah, March will officially be like our 1 year anniversary. So that's
no homo.
So well, I'm just kidding, but
whoa.
we're gonna be a year old. Yeah, it's crazy. So I mean, I'm thankful if we're doing that, you know, for starting the podcast this year, because it's been a lot of fun and I love discussing horror like any chance I get.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I'll talk about besides like video games and you know, swimsuit models, the female ones, of course. And that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't have many interests. I am a man. I'm very simple.
Yeah.
Simple to understand. Simple to please. Unless your name is Hellfest. I just gave a spoiler alert of what I think of that movie.
Oh man, what a scathing review.
Yeah, that's all I'm giving it to.
Yeah.
And that's all the mind you should give that movie as well.
All right.
We'll talk about that in detail since I managed to watch that one.
Yeah. So this episode is going to be kind of special because we're basically wrapping up 2018 and we have to give you guys our top films of the year. So we're going to each have a top 10 list and we're going to talk about why we picked each film, what we liked about it, etc. So
also, if we haven't seen it, that's why it's not on our list. Doy.
Mm-hmm. Or we just didn't feel like it was good enough for top 10, obviously.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think our lists are going to be a little different with some similarities.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to get into that a little bit later. First, we have to give a shout out, of course, to Sports Radio Detroit, who really made our entire year happen in the first place for hosting us.
It all started at a Starbucks.
It did, yeah. Yep, Starbucks and Dearborn Heights.
Yep.
I think. So, yeah. Thank you, Sports Radio Detroit. If you want to go support those guys, check out all their other awesome shows. You can do so on all their social media.
And you can find them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's SRD, Sports Radio Detroit. And, you know, they're the one and only, like I say every week, not Detroit Sports Radio.
Correct.
Sports Radio Detroit. There's a key difference there. It's the word placement.
It is, yeah. The English language is confusing, I know, to many of you.
Yeah, like how they have Final Destination and then The Final Destination, even though that one's like the fourth one.
Yeah, but they're two different movies.
Yeah, but who's going to know in like 50 years? They're going to be like, so why didn't they just call that number 4? Because we like to overcomplicate things. We do that everywhere. We have to.
Yeah. So go check out Sports Radio Detroit. They're fucking awesome. We want to start you guys off with the news as always before we get into our lists. It's been kind of slow. The holidays just happened, so not a lot of people were working. Obviously, how was your holiday?
Mine was good. Went to a friend's house. She made us all dinner. We ate eggs, and then I got you know, I had myself some Christmas trees. Ha ha ha. What about you?
Mine was pretty good. I just kind of spent a little time with the family, and mostly I was just catching up on Red Dead Redemption 2 and like 2018 horror movies. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, like Christmas night, that's what I was doing. I was just watching some shit.
Yeah, I was trying to watch Gremlins, but no like service had it except for Rent, and I wasn't about to rent it. Yeah, I had the movie. I was just too lazy to go to the other room and get it.
For real?
Yeah, for real. It was like 11 at night. I was like,
I mean, all my DVDs and shit are in my garage, so.
Yeah. That's even, I wouldn't want to do that. But anyway, I'm glad that we both had a pretty good holiday. I had a nice break from work. I just got back today, so that was nice. But yeah, I hope that you guys all had an excellent holiday as well. Let us know what you did, if you watched any cool new movies, whatever. But let's get right into the news. Unfortunately, we started last week off with a death in the news, and it's the same thing this week.
Damn.
Yeah.
We got to just get these out of the way before 2019.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I thought 2018 was going to be like, just going to show us some mercy, and it really didn't.
Yeah, it's still not showing mercy.
Yeah. So Donald Moffat, who played the commander in John Carpenter's The Thing, unfortunately has passed away. He played M.T. Gary in the film. He had a very famous scene during the blood testing, where I believe he, was proven to be the Thing, and it was great. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was 87 years old.
Damn, I hope I can make it to 87.
Yeah.
Maybe not that old.
Dude. Because Nicholas Roeg was like 75, I think, when we talked about him last week. Something like that. 87 is crazy, dude.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, and you can see this picture on the article too. I mean, he looked old even back in like the 80s,
Oh, yeah.
when The Thing came out. So that's crazy, but rest in peace to him. He was great. He was in a bunch of other movies like Logan's Run, The Right Stuff, Trapped in Paradise. And he was even nominated for a Best Actor twice. So yeah, RIP to him. Very unfortunate. I will definitely be watching The Thing to celebrate his role in that movie.
I got to watch it again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I'm just going to buy the Blu-ray.
The Blu-ray is awesome. Yeah, there's a really cool steelbook out there too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I like the steelbooks a lot better.
Yeah.
I feel like I got more of a collectible with my money.
Exactly. That's why I like buying them as well. But let's move on. RIP to Donald Moffat. We're going to be talking about Alien right now. Okay.
Oh, shit, what's going on with Alien?
More specifically, actually, I think we discussed this briefly in a previous episode, but there were rumors going on about an extended or expanded Alien universe next year.
Hopefully it's not another fucking Cloverfield movie.
Yeah, I hope not.
Imagine if they're just pulling our nuts with this, and there's the Cloverfield Requiem, and they just hit us with some bullshit.
Or like Alien versus Predator versus, I don't know, Pennywise the Clown or some
They're gonna
bullshit.
have. I hope it's. They need to start taking things in like. It doesn't even have to be in any certain direction. Just stop taking everything in the same fucking direction. Now all there is people are just stacking these universes, and they're just remaking a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. It's just too much right now. Like,
well, this might be kind of a positive because
I just hope it's not another Cloverfield. That's all.
No.
Or like fucking.
Well, Alien, I don't think really has anything to do with Cloverfield.
Well, yeah,
but I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, there was Alien Covenant, which was the very last movie that came out.
I'm just hoping, like I said, like it's not some like Prometheus shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that type of addition to like the universe.
No, I agree. Because
I hope it's like xenomorphs. Like,
yeah, Prometheus did not have anything to do with the xenomorphs, really. Alien Covenant was the follow-up to Prometheus, and it did have a lot of that stuff. And yeah, I don't really want to see that either. I want it to go back to like Alien and Aliens.
I want. You know what? You know where it like. We just need to like. I think we need to like just reboot Alien. Like not the same thing. Don't have the fucking same idea and remake it. Don't just call it Alien. Sure, Alien Requiem, and then make it just as if it's like the first movie in the series, just like Alien was, except make this 2018, not a remake, but a reinvention. Just nothing that has to do with fucking Ripley or anything. Like,
well, so here's what might be going on, because they were rumored to be expanding the universe recently. I think 6 days ago, actually. There's an Instagram profile which is called Alien Anthology. And they posted a bunch of like new images and stuff. And you know what the cool thing is? If you've played Alien Isolation, which I know you started,
I saw the xenomorph finally.
Oh, nice.
His tail was under my legs.
Yeah, just wait until it starts hunting you. It's terrifying. But anyway,
nice.
It is kind of related because in the hashtags of these images, it says it's hashtagged Amanda Ripley,
oh, shit.
which is the protagonist of Alien Isolation. So it is possible that we might see either a TV show or a movie involving Amanda Ripley.
I'd rather get the TV show, honestly. I'm so sick of movies. Like, once remakes started being made, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was okay, and all these additions to the universes were like the Rob Zombie's Halloween to Halloween, and then we had the Jason remake, and then they left Jason alone, and then we had the Freddy remake.
Yeah,
and it's just I don't know anymore.
I mean, it does kind of depend on the property, because I feel like for TV shows it does let you do more character development and more story and stuff, but there are certain things I'd rather just see in 2 hours versus like 10 hours.
Oh yeah, I got you. Then it kind of like really drags on. But I like Scream, for example. When I know it came out in 2011, Scream 4, but once the Scream TV series came out, like I just felt like just involved with Emma Duvall as I did with like Sidney Prescott, and that's because like I feel like a TV show is better at like just keeping you interested, because like it always ends on a fucking cliffhanger too, like especially with these horror TV shows, and like Ash vs Evil Dead, for example. Like I would rather watch more of that than see a new Evil Dead movie. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels fresher. Like now they're making the Chucky TV show.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to the new Chucky movie, the remake.
Yeah.
I'm looking to the continuation of the original storyline with this TV show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just more interesting. I feel there's more elements they could add, because it's just dragging across for like 12 episodes at a time. So they could kind of like, they could even add so much filler in it you wouldn't even fucking notice. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Scream TV show had a lot of fucking just filler shit. Like the romance between Jake and like that blonde bimbo, like the mayor's daughter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of like kind of useless stuff for someone to just be killed off, and then they just end the season like, all right, Scream's not about these people anymore.
Yeah. I don't know, but I definitely thought that the mystery of the Scream TV show, maybe not as good as the first movie, but definitely still like really good. Probably maybe more so than the other films.
Yeah.
Because it stretched out over a course of like whatever 10 episodes or something. So yeah, I totally understand. I think a TV show of Alien would be cool. I mean, the game, if they basically base it off the game, it could totally be a TV show, because the game's pretty long, and there's a lot in the game. So I guess we'll see what happens. Right now it's just a teaser, and I kind of hate putting this like presumptory like kind of stuff out there, but it's been slow.
Yeah.
But
like I've been on like Bloody Disgusting. There hasn't been a lot of shit.
but the Amanda Ripley thing is kind of exciting to me, so I expect we'll see more in 2019, hopefully early 2019 about this. We'll see. But the next thing that's up again is kind of like a speculative thing, but A Nightmare on Elm Street, which has been
I read this earlier today.
supposed to have been rebooted basically for 3 years now. Bloody Disgusting spoke with someone from New Line Cinema, and essentially they said that their main priority right now is the Conjuring universe, which makes a lot of sense because it's their money-making machine.
Oh yeah, and their last Conjuring installation wasn't really great, so they should kind of focus on like picking it back up after The Nun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, especially considering in terms of Freddy, or A Nightmare on Elm Street, rather, compare the last Insidious to the last Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh man, the last Insidious looks like a masterpiece compared to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, or The Conjuring, I mean, rather.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So either way.
Yeah, either one. Like,
Insidious: The Last Key is like way better than the new Nightmare on Elm Street.
dude, the Nightmare remake was so bad.
Yeah.
Freddy looked like a fucking iguana, like a burnt iguana in the face.
Yeah. And I just don't think that Jackie Earle Haley fit the part, because they really needed like a tall, lanky guy like Robert Englund.
Yeah.
And instead they picked a stocky, short guy to play him, and the face makeup was trash. So
yeah, the face makeup was, I don't know, his face just wasn't Freddy. Like I said, it was.
Yeah.
I almost believed that he was a pedophile. You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they had a scarier Freddy, someone that actually could like move like Freddy does and was kind of like tall and skinny.
I could play Freddy.
Yeah, you could.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
I
you're
could really
going
play
up.
Freddy.
Yeah.
They just need to change my voice with the little.
Yeah.
I can't talk like Robert Englund.
I think they should just get Robert Englund to like go into the studio and just record like, I don't know, 50 hours worth of Freddy Krueger lines.
Yeah.
And then when he dies, they just have them all, and then they could just write a whole movie around
Just
them.
CGI him into all the movies.
Or that,
Like
yeah.
they did to fucking Paul Walker in the fucking Fast and
Oh,
Furious.
that was bad, honestly. But yeah, something like that. Anyway, apparently the new Nightmare is still in the works, but we're not sure when it's going to be made. Hopefully soon. They're talking about a reboot again, which makes sense after the last movie.
Oh my
but
god! You know who they could get to fucking play Freddy? David Howard Thornton, the Terrifier clown.
They could,
dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I wanted to see him play Joker too. That would have been crazy.
That would be really cool.
He's really good.
Yeah, and he's a really cool guy as well.
He really
we talked
is.
to him.
He actually
over
talks back to you.
Instagram.
Like
Yeah.
he followed me. He follows me on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yeah, he's very passionate. So I mean, hey, let's fucking petition to get him to at least audition for Freddy Krueger.
I'm gonna talk to him about it. I'm gonna
yeah.
message him, be like, "Yo, have you thought about auditioning for Freddy Krueger?"
Yeah, hey, dude, if he does it, he'd be like, "Thanks, Barnabas and Samuel."
And I'll be like, "Dude, I just wanted to see a good Freddy movie. I don't care." Like, you know.
Yeah, same. I miss it because I could go on about it for a long time because it does have a special place in my heart. But yeah, I just wish that we could see like a good Freddy movie again, because the last good one was in 1993, 94 with
Hold on.
New Nightmare.
They get. I'm about to message him right now, but I'm about to speak it so everyone can hear us.
Okay.
Hey, I heard they're rebooting Nightmare on Elm Street. You should totally audition for the role of Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah, we'll let you know. We'll let you guys know what he says.
Oh, I sent him a voice message. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
Now he's
so
gonna be like, "Wow, this guy's weird."
Why do you think you recorded your voice? Hey, maybe he'll reply more positively to that. Like, wow, they really took the time to send a voice message. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or he'll think we're fucking creepers.
He'll be like, "Weird. I played a killer clown, and you guys are freaking me out." Like,
there's probably fans that are like way more committed than us. I mean, there are people who have like Art the Clown tattoos and shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
die hard fans.
Oh yeah.
Like die very hard fans.
Oh yeah. So we'll keep you guys posted if there's anything more on the Nightmare on Elm Street front, but I don't expect that we'll really be hearing a lot about it, at least not yet. So next up, we have a single trailer for you guys because there really wasn't anything else that came out, but this is a very good trailer, in my opinion. So this is Jordan Peele's Us.
Oh my god, dude, I saw the trailer last night. Holy shit.
I know.
Holy shit. Dude, and this dude's about to remake Candyman. Jordan Peele is the fucking man,
He
bro.
really is.
They need to take him and put him on Friday the 13th. Let him remake Jason and remake Freddy. Dude, this guy's a fucking genius. I thought he was just like good at comedy, but like after Get Out and now seeing this.
Honestly, bro, Key and Peele is really genius comedy. So
I mean, it is.
and he's a horror like diehard fan. So
Dude, I'm so happy he is because like he's a fucking great director, dude.
yeah, honestly, I think so too. And there are a lot of people out there talking about Get Out and how it was terrible and how it was
Stupid.
like
They're fucking stupid.
attacking Whitey and all this kind of shit. Honestly, Jordan Peele made a great fucking movie, and I think that you all are just jealous that he made a good ass movie and you
Dude,
can't.
like, come on, bro. Even when like they were like, "Oh, LeBron wants to produce Friday the 13th," people were like, "Nope, nope." Why? It's because he's black, bro. That's why people are being fucking
People are like,
dickheads.
oh, he's a basketball player. What is he? Like, you know what? It doesn't really matter because if you're a horror fan and you have creativity, you can make a movie.
Dude, let's say you're a lawyer. A lawyer can't be like obsessed with horror movies. Like, of course they can, but now a basketball player can't. A comedian can't make horror movies.
I don't know if I would trust a lawyer's money though.
I would. I did.
Yeah. So, Us. Okay. The trailer is absolutely insane. The only thing about the trailer, while I really
They
like
shouldn't
it,
have told a twist.
they did show a little too much, I think.
They shouldn't have showed that twist when they were like, "Oh, it's us." Like, I mean, I guess the fucking title of
there's been a lot more stuff like about doppelgangers that's even written in the article. So I think he wants people to know because he actually like told people like what the actual creatures are, at least their name. He didn't say like what they are, but he said they're called the Tethered. So that to me implies that somehow these creatures and these people are like linked together. I don't know how, but somehow. So it still like leads to tons of questions, but the movie looks absolutely like batshit crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I really want to see that, and we gotta wait till 2019. Well,
It's not that, dude. This is actually around our 1 year anniversary. It's March 15th coming out.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
our 2019 anniversary episode. Our 1 year. We're gonna do the review of Us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to do like, let's try to find an old movie that's kind of similar to it.
Yeah, actually, there was a cool thing I read where apparently Jordan Peele gave his main actors like 10 horror movies that they had to watch in order to prepare for the role.
Oh really?
Yeah, so it's out there. I can't find it right now, but it is out there, and it's got movies like Let the Right One In, A Tale of Two Sisters, The Birds, and a bunch of other really good horror movies on there, and most of them are like psychological horror. So this is definitely going to be another psychological horror, but it looks more action-packed, kind of. So I'm really excited for this movie.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just hope they don't tell us like any more what those things are, and I hope it's a Jordan Peele movie, so there's gonna be a fuck ton of suspense.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna be done well. This is gonna be another like a big movie like Get Out. I think
so.
I think he's just talented, bro, and he doesn't come up with like stupid movies like Hellfest.
Yeah.
Sorry, there we go again. It's just slipping out all fucking day.
Yeah, that's like today's Halloween. Is just fuck Hellfest.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm probably not going to now.
Man, like to think it would. All right, we'll talk about that later. Let's just continue on.
Well, I mean, this movie is not in your top 10 horror movies of the year, or is it?
Which movie?
Hellfest. Because I think that's a pretty good lead
It's
up.
number 22.
Okay.
And you know what's right before that? The piece of shit known as American Fright Fest. The one I told you.
Yeah, you told me. I'm glad we didn't watch it now, because...
Just so you guys know, I watched 24 horror movies this year, and my very last one, spoiler alert, it's Slender Man.
Oh, yeah.
And then 23 is Open House.
Yeah, that's near the bottom of mine, too.
Tao and Cam are at the bottom for me, too.
Yeah.
Along with, like, The Nun.
So, apparently it is time for our top 10 horror movie lists of the year 2018.
Let's give them a little bonus. Let's give them first our 5 honorable mentions. We'll just swing through them. That'll be the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We'll just list them.
Sure.
So honorable mentions for me are The Strangers Pray at Night, Pie Wacket, Winchester, You Might Be the Killer, and Why Hide.
So was that from 15 to 11?
That was 11 to 15 for some reason. I did that.
Okay, so
It doesn't matter because they're not in the top 10.
yeah, whatever. But okay, that's interesting. Let me pull up mine here real quick.
I mean, Why Hide is that one movie I was telling you about, Christmas Presents.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. That was number 11 on your list.
Oh no, that was 15.
Okay, I was really confused by how.
Okay,
you were
15 is
listening.
Why Hide.
Okay.
14 is You Might Be the Killer. 13 is Winchester. 12 is Pie Wacket, and 11 is The Strangers.
Okay. Honestly, yeah, I think The Strangers was quite good. It did not make my top 15, I don't think, but yeah, we're gonna once I give my honorable mentions, we're just gonna go through both of our lists, and I was thinking we just go like number 10, and explain why.
Okay, I'm down for that. That sounds good.
Cool. So my honorable mentions are at number 15, A Quiet Place. At 14, Apostle. At 13, Ghost Stories. At 12, The Ritual. And at number 11, Terrified. Okay. And but however, you watched how many? 24 movies?
Mm-hmm.
I watched exactly double that.
Holy
that are on my list. I may have missed one or two, but yeah. I tried to watch a good chunk of them. I definitely missed quite a few. Some notable ones that I did not watch this year included Cargo, The Clove Hitch Killer, Marrowbone, Lutz, Overlord, actually, and then
Hellfest
I didn't watch. So there are quite a few that I didn't watch, but I think I touched on most of the notable horror movies of the year. So all right, we're gonna get into it. Before we do this, though, we're gonna give just a real quick shout out to some of the other cool shows on the Sports Radio Detroit network.
Hi, this is Chris.
And this is Roger.
And if you like Tigers baseball, Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, analytics, pop culture references, movies, sports, food, check us out. Look for Tigers SRD on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify.
Do you love pop culture? Discussions about pop culture? Ranking and rating treasured pieces of that shared culture against each other?
I mean, I do think Flea's a good bass player. He does what he does very well. And like I said, he's like a rock star, you know? He's eccentric. And what is so funny?
I just didn't know he talked so long about Flea. I didn't know anybody had so many feelings.
I do.
So many
I got
feelings.
feelings. Yeah.
Music, movies, television, food, sports, pro wrestling. We are the determination of what is over or underrated across all fields of greater cultural consumption. Subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts and Podbean, or visit us at sportsradiodetroit.com. Over, under, fair. Your final word in pop cultural relevance.
All right, so don't forget, we have a bunch of social media, and I would love to see your guys' top 10 horror. So shoot them our way. You know, we'd love to talk about them because I like this kind of stuff, like ranking and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So let us know what your guys' top 10 films are. So let's just get right into it. Number 10, would you like the honors of going first? Or
Yes, sir. I guess I will. At number 10, we have the 2-hour and 32-minute movie Suspiria. So going into this movie, I went into it open-minded. I was not thinking of the original at all. And as soon as you get into the movie theater and start watching this movie, it became really apparent for me. Cinematography was different. This movie seemed bigger than the original. Like, that's how the cinematography made it. It took itself like 100% seriously. And when crazy shit would happen, it happened. But it had moments that dragged on. And that really killed the experience for me because I really had to piss, but I really couldn't miss any of the movie. So that's why this is at number 10. This is a movie you watch at home. It's a fun theater experience. Like movies like this, like for me, movies that had a similar feel to this were like, what's a good one? Like Woman in Black, like because of the cinematography that made the movie seem like super, like a lot bigger than it actually was. But yeah, this was number 10 because it dragged on and I needed to piss and I couldn't piss and my bladder was hurting and yeah.
that's a valid criticism, I think.
Way too long.
It was very long, yeah. There are only a couple of movies on my list even that are that long, but my number 10 is Annihilation. Now, I did have this movie initially ranked a little bit higher, and then I kind of thought about it, and I thought, you know, it was a good movie, but the horror elements were kind of few and far between. I mean, once they get into Zone X or whatever it was called, there are quite a few horror elements, but it's this amalgamation of this really original storyline, but it's got horror elements and it's got sci-fi elements, it's got drama elements, it's got romance elements. It's a lot, you know. And I felt like there were more movies that were just more like raw horror movies.
This is the movie we were initially supposed to go watch, but then we went to go see Winchester, remember?
Yes. Yeah. And I kind of regret going to see Winchester because I thought this movie was great. If you're not familiar with it, it's based off of a novel, and it concerns this scientist who is recruited to study this really strange supernatural or possibly natural phenomenon called, I think it's Zone X. And essentially it's just this like weird dome where everything inside it, just like the laws of nature are different. You know, it causes all these like weird mutations and everything. So this group goes in to try to retrieve another group that never came back. One of those kind of things.
That always goes well.
Right. And a lot of crazy shit happens, but it was a very creative film. Apparently they left a lot of stuff out from the book, but that's how it goes sometimes. But it was still a really good film. Natalie Portman was great. Jennifer Jason Leigh, who is the mom in Atypical, she was the quintessential bitch in this movie as usually she is.
Per usual, yes.
Yes. But it was an awesome movie. Gorgeous film.
For real?
Yeah. Very beautiful cinematography, beautiful visuals. And I thought the acting and everything was good. So, but it's at my number 10 just because I feel like there were better, like pure horror films out there.
I get you, yeah.
Yeah. So number 9.
All right, number 9, I have A Quiet Place. So I love the acting in this film. I put it at number 9 because although it was a good movie, the first few minutes or very long minutes where it's just quietness got really annoying after like the first 3 minutes. Also, like I felt like this movie was missing a lot of horror elements. Sure, it had like the suspense when the mom was hiding in the bathtub, or when someone would step on something and make a loud noise, and they'd wait for those things to like show up. Sure, it's suspenseful, but like nothing to me about like the cinematography helped the movie do that. And for me, like the suspense for me comes in the lighting and cinematography, like in Insidious and The Conjuring and all that stuff, like all those paranormal movies. I know this one was about aliens, but this was still missing like that dark element. I know it's hopeless because it's at the end of the fucking world, of course.
Yeah.
But I just felt like this movie it's at number 9 because flat out it just wasn't scary.
That's fair.
It wasn't scary. Let's think about it, right? Quiet Place. Remember with the aliens and the dad sacrifice?
Yeah.
Wasn't scary, right?
No, I don't really think
Exactly.
so. Yeah.
Wasn't
There were a
scary.
couple pretty tense moments, like in the basement initially.
Exactly.
Where it was flooding and stuff. But
Kinda
yeah, it wasn't
tense, but, like not tense like, oh shit, he's walking down a hallway and he's walking really slow and the music is getting louder and they're zooming in and it's super dark. I kind of see shadow. It's not that at all.
Yeah, not really.
It's more like, where's the monster gonna come from?
Yeah, they really just played on the whole like gimmick of you make even like the slightest decibel of noise and you know this thing's gonna come and like chop your head off, and it really doesn't work out like that. So yeah, I do get that. Like I said, it was like my number 15 or 14 or something
Gotcha.
like that. So my number 15. So yeah, I definitely thought there were better films, but very innovative movie, and I think John Krasinski did a good job. It was his directorial debut too, so imagine if this was like his 5th movie and he had more experience. Like I think it would have been a way better film.
Oh, it was good. Like I said,
Yeah.
it just wasn't scary.
Yeah, and I think that knowing how to make a film scary just comes with experience. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So okay, awesome. Mine was another very innovative film. This one actually was pretty popular in the horror circles, even though it was kind of like a gory modern RoboCop kind of deal. My number 9 is Upgrade. Now, I kind of wanted to put this movie a little bit higher, but then I thought about it and I was like, you know, this was a really good film, and I understand how it has a lot of horror elements because this guy basically is like almost a cyborg, and he's just going around and like involuntarily kicking people's heads off and blood's flying everywhere, and you know, but at the same time he can't really control it, and there's just this robotic voice inside his head. It's like an AI. It's an awesome film, you know, and there's a lot of action, there's a lot of gory action, but yeah, not a lot of horror elements.
Like Predator, basically.
Kind of, sort of. Like I said, almost more like RoboCop.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so, but I thought it was good. Just, yeah, not really a ton of actual horror elements. But the synthy kind of 80s soundtrack, which is a very common theme in 2018, was really well perceived, and I really liked it. And I actually did go to the theater to see this, and it was an awesome movie, like theater experience. So, yeah, that's my number 9. Moving on, number 8.
So for number 8, I put Ghost Stories because I just really enjoyed the shit out of this film. Don't get me wrong, I had Pyewacket at number 12, and I really liked Pyewacket. But this one was like a lot deeper than Pyewacket. Pyewacket was just little teenage bitch. Oh, I don't like my mama. I'm gonna make a demon kill her, or whatever the fuck she did.
Yeah.
And this one, it was this guy who doesn't believe in ghosts, and spoiler alert, he's been dead the whole time or something. You know, like
Yeah, something like that. Some Sixth Sense type shit or something.
that's what I like. The twist that I didn't explain when like reality started ripping apart in front of his own eyes.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all.
I didn't. That's why it was so good, and it was actually scary too. Like there's 2 parts that really scared me. I remember jumping twice.
Yeah.
I had a couple good jump scares, but like the whole time you would never figure out like what the fuck is gonna happen, because you think this guy's just, you know, he's an atheist. He's like not gonna get to believe in this shit, and he doesn't give a fuck. He's not gonna find any evidence. So when someone's like, "Oh yeah, you want some evidence?" and like tell him what to do, he finds out that he's dead, and it's just like, I don't know. I felt like it was like pretty hardcore, man. Like,
Yeah. And honestly, I thought the best anthology film of the year, because this was an anthology film technically, and I felt like all the segments were actually had 3 segments and then like a wraparound story. I thought all the segments were honestly like pretty good. You know, the first one with weren't they in like it wasn't a prison, but it was some kind of like facility or something, and
I was gonna
that
say
was
maybe,
a paranormal one.
Maybe they were at the loony bin.
Yeah, it was something like that. But that was the paranormal one. Yeah, I thought all the segments were actually pretty good. So I agree with that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Like, I mean, I was expecting a paranormal movie, and I got a psychological movie. That's why I was like, whoa, like.
Yeah, I mean, every story pretty much had those paranormal elements, but it was really more of kind of an exploration of just like this guy.
Yeah.
You know? So.
You don't even find it out until like the last fucking 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, all of this wasn't for nothing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it was kind of connected, though. It was just played on like his disbelief. That was like the big theme, you know, faith, I guess, stuff like that. So, yeah, I thought it was a good movie. Totally deserving of a number 8 spot. Mine, if you can believe it, was Incident in a Ghostland or Ghostland.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, you know, we just watched it the other week or over the weekend. One of the two, or I think last week.
I think Saturday or
something like that. Yeah, Saturday, I think. And we were both just like kind of freaking out the entire time because it was a crazy movie.
Fucking I don't want to spoil it because like.
Yeah. This one was kind of more low key. I don't know if a lot of people actually watched it, but yeah.
They should.
Yeah. So it was directed by Pascal Logier. I don't know how to actually say his name, but he was one of the guys who did Martyrs, the original French Martyrs.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
No wonder this was like.
Yeah, this movie was fucked up. And actually, the basic premise was kind of the same, concerning these two sisters who, at a young age, just are victims of this really, really terrible abuse. There's this really shitty situation that happens.
It just went from home invasion to sexual assault to imprisonment.
Yeah.
And exploring the psyche of a 9-year-old girl.
Basically.
Who can literally push herself out of reality so she doesn't have to fathom the pain that comes with it. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about, basically. I don't want to...
Essentially, yeah. But there are a lot of actually really tense moments in this film. I actually liked the antagonist quite a bit, like the two killers or whatever.
Dude, they were creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Especially right at the beginning, like when like they were getting, like one of them was getting dragged away and like the dude was just flipping her off.
Yeah.
That was kind of fucked up, but...
Yeah, honestly, the movie had a lot of like really dark, like adult themes. And I was kind of expecting it, but at the same time, I was really not expecting any of this.
I thought it was going to be a paranormal movie.
Yeah. No, but it was super violent. It dealt in like really heavy subject matter, you know, sexual abuse in children, essentially. But I thought that it portrayed those themes pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because there are a lot of heroic moments in this movie, as well as very tense, disturbing ones. And the way that the movie was constructed, like the way it bounced back between different narratives, was, in my opinion, done really well in like the grand scheme of the movie. Like once you finish the movie, you're like, okay, I understood why this happened here. And
oh yeah, it was like really well thought out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna give it up because this was my number 2. So
okay.
I don't want to talk about it again and explain myself. Cause
well, we can get, you know, we're gonna have movies that are on each other's list. So I think it's fair. Like I can tell you why I thought it was good, and then once it comes to you, you can say why it was your like number 2. You know, why you thought it was.
I got you.
Really good. So, but that was my number 8, just because everything past this, I just thought had way more of an impact on me, and you know, was a little bit better. Maybe I'm a little biased, but yeah. So that's my number 8. All right, number 7.
All right, so my number 7 was Apostle.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. Apostle's fucking brutal. It keeps your eyes glued to the fucking TV, that's for sure. You're not gonna be texting or fucking, you're not eating, that's for fucking sure, during this fucking movie. You better get all that shit out the fucking way before you watch this shit. And like, I like the score in that film. Like it wasn't anything like special, but like it just added to like to how fucking tense and like you just felt uneasy watching this movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like you saw really like the depths of like human fucking savagery and how like, hey, cults like this could fucking exist, bro. You never know how crazy people can like pervert a thought process and like a system of thought and just use it to just do terrible shit. But this was one of those like, hey, my so and so is being held, captive, and I'm gonna go get him by pretending to be one of. It's like some Avatar shit, So
Yeah.
it's at number 7 for me because like I felt like the script at times was like kind of meh, but
Yeah.
I felt like if the script was better and like if the pacing was like a little better too, that I would like this movie a lot more.
Yeah.
That's the two things, like the script and the pacing were just but the violence and like how it unfolds, that's what I really liked about this movie. Like so that's why I was at my number 7 and I liked it a lot better than Ghost Stories because like if you got bloodlust, this you'll be good. You'll be good after this.
So just watch this movie if you're like really angry.
Oh yeah, Apostle, yeah.
I got you. Yeah, honestly, it was really cool, and the actual twist in the movie, I was not expecting the twist, but yeah, I agreed. It kind of dragged in like a lot of spots.
Yeah.
So there were times where I kind of wish that it would just move away from Dan Stevens' face and just like do something else,
Like I don't want to give it up because like a lot of people still haven't watched it, even though it's on Netflix. They're like, oh, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
But your eyes will be glued. You shouldn't look away. But at times you're like, well, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And then it comes on and you're like, oh fuck, all right, not so quickly. Like
Yeah.
that's how I felt at times. Like
Well, the thing is too, I mean, actually the movie was over 2 hours long.
yeah.
So it was 2 hours and 10 minutes long. So yeah.
Didn't feel as long as Suspiria though.
No, that's true. I mean, there was still like a little bit more going on in Apostle, but we'll get to that. My number 7 is a movie that I feel like definitely flew under the radar, but we actually did discuss this movie. I think actually in one of our trailer segments. It's Possum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I watched this movie and
damn, it's really at your number fucking 7?
Yep. I was thoroughly disturbed by this film.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That bad?
It's just it's not even that it was that bad. It had more like just really unsettling vibes.
Oh shit.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh, atmospheric movies. You know me.
It was very atmospheric. I wouldn't even say it was like artsy or art house or anything like that. It kind of was because there was there were a lot of like metaphors and stuff like that in this film, and it was very bleak, and the cinematography was good, but it was like odd at times, But just the story itself is very odd. So Sean Harris plays this guy named Philip, who is a disgraced puppeteer. And once you see his puppet, you'll completely understand why. But
It's just like a fucking...
Okay, so let me describe it to you, okay? Basically, he has this puppet that has the body of an arachnid, and it's got these really, really long, like, spider legs.
That would explain the fucking poster.
Yeah, and they're like hairy and everything. Like it looks almost like it's like from a real giant spider, but it doesn't have a spider head. It has the head of a plain faced like doll, and its just mouth is gaping open and it's just staring blankly. It's incredibly disturbing, especially because like for like the first half hour or maybe more of the movie, the way that they frame and like shoot the puppet when it's on screen, because it almost seems like it has a mind of its own. It doesn't show like the whole thing. It just like slowly reveals it. And then once you actually see the puppet, you're like, holy shit, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because I'm going to see that thing in the corner of my room and I'm going to want to kill myself.
I know I got to see it.
Yeah. So it is slow at times, and it is kind of confusing because the plot doesn't really become immediate. You just kind of learn that he's trying to destroy this thing for some reason.
Oh.
And it seems to kind of like move around on its own and have a mind of its own. So that's kind of the story. There is another plot line too, which is kind of present, but it almost feels like just totally secondary. So some of those kind of elements are a little iffy, but just the vibe alone and how creepy this thing is and Sean Harris's performance, that's what made it number 7 for me. Yeah, that's Possum. Number 6.
So my number 6 is a Netflix movie called May the Devil Take You. Now, I was waiting for a really good demon movie to come along, like Evil Dead-ish, like Drag Me to Hell-ish, even Insidious-ish, and this shit fucking delivered because like the demons were like up front in your face from the beginning. You have to wait about 5 minutes before you see the first demon creeping behind a fucking curtain at the hospital.
Yeah.
This movie was intense. It was fucking off the fucking rails. Like, it was not a subtle horror movie. It didn't take itself seriously, but it was a serious movie. And it had a really Sam Raimi-esque ending, like Drag Me to Hell-ish.
Yeah.
But with the whole movie had like Evil Dead vibes, but like it took place at nighttime. It was raining, and there's just a lot of shit going on. And basically, you know, people turn to this demon, you know, after like they get thrown up on or whatever the fuck happens.
Yeah, so the whole Deadite conversion thing is similar between like Evil Dead and this movie. Yeah, it was heavily influenced by just Sam Raimi horror movies kind of in general.
Oh yeah, you can tell. And I like that there was like a lot of like cringy moments, like the breaking of the fingernails and like the throwing up the blood.
Yeah.
Like you see the hammers going into the heads of people, and like it was suspenseful too, but the secondary character like fucking dies like close to the end, you know? Like, that's what kind of like meh. What really didn't make this movie number one for me was like I felt it was like it was scary. It was suspenseful. It had suspense. But the thing that this movie was really missing was atmosphere. I didn't feel like unease. Like the setting didn't bother me because like the camera work was so good in this movie, and like it just looked like they were just recording something like, oh, this is happening. You know, like it wasn't really like a dark film. It got when they went outside and like her mom was like running on all fours through like the forest or whatever. That part, maybe the basement part, but like I felt like they needed more atmosphere in combination with like the suspense elements. And hey, fuck it, even more jump scares, because this is one of those movies that it's not a fucking genius horror movie. It's a fun horror movie. So I felt like we need a little bit more jump scares. We need a little bit more atmospheric moments to help build the suspense better. So
that's totally fair. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more because it is actually a further pick for me.
Oh shit.
So yep, I'm going to talk about my number 6. My number 6 horror film of 2018 is Mandy.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So Mandy was one of the biggest horror movie stories of 2018. I think, as many of us horror fans know, the new Nicolas Cage film, directed by Panos Cosmatos, was just a complete trip. You know, you feel like even if you don't take acid while you're watching this movie, you kind of feel like you're on acid.
Damn.
Yeah. And it was crazy. And it stars Nick Cage as this kind of regular everyday man in 1983 whose partner, Mandy, portrayed by Andrea Riseborough, was taken by this like weird hippie cult. But the thing about this weird hippie cult, though, is that they summon like actual demons to come steal Mandy. And then Nicolas Cage, on an acid-fueled revenge trip.
I thought he took ayahuasca or something.
I don't. It was some like weird like LSD substance or something that these demons make. They're like demon bikers. It was absolutely nuts. And he just goes and slaughters a ton of people and demons and tries to get his girl back. So it's a really simple premise, but the way this movie is shot, the soundtrack, all the really trippy like landscape imagery and everything, and Nick Cage's performance.
He always performed good, man. Fuck
Dude.
that guy.
I know, right? Yeah, this movie and like Mom and Dad also
I was just
this
thinking
year.
about Mom and Dad.
Yeah, he's really stepping up his horror game for sure. But all those elements for me make this a really good film. And that's what puts it at number 6. So let's move on to number 5.
Number 5 for me was David Gordon Green's Halloween. I thought it would be top 3, but after watching a few more movies and analyzing my final thoughts upon this, I watched Halloween 4 or 5 times so far. It does get better with each time, but I'm just basing this review off my initial thought because I feel now that I've watched it too much, I've become accustomed to it. So like it's kind of like obscuring my vision. So like I'm just gonna say this is number 5 because I loved seeing Michael again. Fucking James Jude Courtney was like the perfect fucking Michael Myers. Him and Nick Castle are like the only ones who actually did it right. Chris Duran did it right too in H2O. Like he had the movements down and everything. But what else? I like the acting in this. One thing I did not like, I've mentioned throughout the year, the pacing seemed kind of off. Like right off the bat, we get a little bit of credits, then to the mental hospital, then we get the credits again. Because first they're like, oh, so and so presents, and then they're at the mental hospital, and then say something, Michael, say something, and then dun 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 dun. I felt like they humanized Michael too much. He didn't have like the same questions that people were asking about him in the first one. Is he paranormal? Is he this? Is he that? How'd he get in? How'd he do this? How'd he do that? This kind of shows us he just kind of walks right up to your house, goes inside. They didn't show how he got into that babysitter's, the place she was babysitting, but so he had some like mystery to him, I guess. But like every time he got like hit with something, like it took a lot out of him, and that's what I didn't like. They made Michael Myers like just your average run of the mill like mental patient who escaped and has like really above average strength and like a pain threshold. So
yeah. Well, what did you think about the atmosphere and the kills?
Atmosphere was disturbing at times, like at the mental hospital. I like the scene where Loomis was talking about exterminating Michael and having them poison him and put him to death. I love the score to this movie. Cinematography was done like really well, made Michael look like a lot more big physically and you know, like than he was in the film. And I thought the kills were dope. My favorite kill has to be the window scene where he snuck up on that lady. He grabbed her ponytail, bounced her face off the windowsill, and then stuck a knife through her neck. So it was a Michael kill. It wasn't like when he stomped the doctor. That was like super Jason-esque, you know? So I was just like... And the fact that when the doctor like fucking put Michael's mask on and started dancing and stabbing the fucking sheriff, and I was just like, oh boy.
Yeah. But no, I agree. I mean, it is Michael Myers, and there were a lot of good elements to this movie, but just take a guess at where this movie ranks on mine out of the 48 that I've seen.
18?
So David Gordon Green's Halloween for me is number 25.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
I do agree with a lot of the points that you were saying, but this movie kind of made me wonder if over-polished slasher movies just take away from what a slasher movie is supposed to be.
I think so.
You know, because this was a huge budget film. It was so hyped up. And I just thought that...
It didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that part of that reason is because it was a little too over-polished. You know, that grittiness is what... Not that I'm saying, like, you have to film on film or anything like that. But, like, look at Hatchet, you know? That's a modern horror film. But... a modern slasher movie, rather. But I thought it was done well. Halloween, I thought, was a little too nice around the edges. And couple that with the fact that, you know, it included a lot of these just like really questionable scenes, like the little kid and all these really stupid characters, like at the high school dance or whatever the fuck that was.
Stupid.
There were just all these scenes and all these characters that I was just like, did this really have to be in the movie? Like, couldn't this have been something else?
Yeah, it just felt like too like big budget for me.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like a teeny bopper movie.
Kind of, yeah. It didn't capture that same essence as like even the original like 4 or 5 movies did for me.
Yeah, for Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, I still like better than this film.
Yeah.
Halloween 1, 2, and 4, I would say I like better than this.
Right.
But I like this one better than like 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection. I do like the Rob Zombie one, I would say a little bit better than this one. I'm not going to lie. I rewatched it. Not as bad as I originally like thought about it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So for mine, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on because it is May the Devil Take You.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. So initially I had this movie at number 2, and I actually thought about it a little bit more, and you know, I love The Evil Dead, and this movie is very clearly inspired by The Evil Dead, which I really liked. And I actually thought this movie had a lot of great elements. You know, the actual monsters were quite terrifying, you know, as evident by the first scene with the mom.
Yeah.
Where she like fucking climbs up the wall or whatever.
The corner of the fucking room.
Yeah, out in the woods. And there are a number of scenes where, you know, it's really genuinely pretty frightening, but I don't think that the movie really differentiated itself enough. You know, it had a lot of very like clearly, you know, influenced scenes and not really the characters and stuff so much, because at its core, this was kind of like a family are revolved around a family, like one of those horror movies, which was also a big theme this year. But yeah, I just don't think that it really was different enough. But cinematography, everything that you said about it, I pretty much agree with. But at times I thought the writing could have been tightened up a little bit. And I think it just needed to find its own identity a little bit more.
I think so too. It seemed like way more like an Evil Dead love letter than anything else.
Yeah.
It was way too similar.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, I mean, yeah, I think that is kind of a negative. But at the same time, though, really, I think cemented the director, Timo Tadjanto, as an up-and-coming, big-time horror director for me. Because I thought he still did a great job. You know, this is number 5 out of my whole list. So, but yeah, that's May the Devil Take You. Next up, number 4.
Number 4 for me was Hereditary. According to my list, this is my favorite paranormal movie of the year because it's like I feel like this is what horror, like paranormal, like demonic movies should be, focused around like a family haunting, like The Conjuring, like Insidious, Paranormal Activity. Like to me, like this is like the same universe as that type of stuff. Like it has the same kind of feels. Then there's like the fun movies like Don't Knock Twice and Lights Out that focus on more of like and Drag Me to Hell that focus on like more of an entity that's you're in like immediate danger. Like it's not trying to haunt you, it's just coming for that ass. But this one was like psychological a lot too. I liked when the little sister's head flew off, and then like the stuff the kid was going through, knowing that he killed his little sister, not purposely, obviously. And then like the family problems, and Toni Collette was really good. Her husband though seemed like the only one to like not be like overacting. Like he was the only one that didn't overact.
Yeah.
What's the son's name? Peter.
Yep.
He fucking did too much. Shit. Everyone at the theater was laughing and shit. He was crying like hardcore.
Yeah.
But I just I liked the fucking dude. As soon as we got to the ending though, that shit got intense. It started getting intense when Peter started headbutting his fucking face off his desk at school. That's when shit hit the fan, and then. Oh my god! Then her husband got set on fire after he threw that book away, and
yeah, dude, there were a ton of
that's
like
when it, dude. But the crawling across the wall, and then like the head slamming into the fucking thing, and then she was sawing her own neck with the fucking That shit was crazy. That was worth the wait, though.
Yeah, dude, and there were a lot of awesome just theater moments where I was just going like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
So, yeah. I will give my thoughts more on this film soon. Do you have anything else that you want to add to it? Why it was number 4?
Good atmosphere, good cinematography, great acting, except from Peter, and also,
yeah. All right, so my number 4 was the new Suspiria.
Oh, nice.
Yep, directed by Luca Guadagnino, I believe an Italian guy. Makes sense. This very, very loose reimagining of Dario Argento's 70s masterpiece, Suspiria, came out this year, and it didn't have a wide release. We had to go to one specific theater to watch it. And I know you mentioned before that it was long, and I do agree. I thought it was very long, especially in comparison to the original. The original was not that long.
I mean, I wouldn't care if it was like I said, if I was at the house because I could go piss.
Yeah.
But you couldn't go piss if you drank anything at the theater, you could not go fucking piss. You'd miss a lot of shit.
No, that's fair. Yeah, for me, I didn't have to piss that much. A little bit, but
That's because you're a fucking reptile, man.
I am. But I did not. I got to pretty much enjoy this movie at the fullest. And this movie was just hands down fucking insane. Like I said, a pretty loose reimagining of the original film. This movie packs an absolute shit ton into it. It's got a side story about Nazis. It's got a main story about witches. It's got another side story about a romance between a Nazi survivor and a doctor in the Nazi era. And it's got all of these themes about power, about motherhood. It's got this backdrop about the Beider Meinhof gang. Dude, there's a lot in this movie. And I still think about it sometimes, and I think about certain things, like what they mean and stuff.
We gotta is it out on Blu-ray yet?
I think so. Maybe I have to check. I think it is actually. I do have to watch it.
Because I have to rewatch it. Yeah.
Like at home, just
with
chill.
with no distractions, like my bladder about to start bleeding from holding my piss in too much.
Exactly. Yeah, but it was number 4 for me. I thought, looking back at it, it was a phenomenal movie. Still kind of a little iffy about Dakota Johnson's performance sometimes, but Tilda Swinton, phenomenal. Angela Winkler as Miss Tanner, very good. And, I think most of the performances were great. And it was just a fucking disturbing movie because at times, like, I didn't really know what was going on.
The dancing scene was the best.
It was.
The first...
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like a lot of those scenes were like really brutal.
Oh yeah.
But they were kind of also subtle at the time. Most of the film was just about this like weird, almost like metaphysical relationship between Dakota Johnson's character Susie Bannion and the head mistress Madame Blanc. And it was Susie just kind of slowly edging into the witch world, which really wasn't that much of a plot line in the original film. She was more going against the entire coven or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of, unbeknownst to her for most of the movie.
Well, because they were operating things improperly.
Yeah.
You saw what that one bitch did. She killed her favorite, madam. Like,
yeah.
And then what was her name? Madam Reincarnation?
Yeah. Helena Marcos or whatever was supposed to be like the head one. Are you talking about in the new movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil it in case no one's watched it yet exactly, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. That whole end scene was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That was probably like the weirdest thing I've seen in 2018.
I was so confused though.
Same. But it was super bloody, like ultra violent, and I thought it was awesome at the same time, But yeah, there were a lot of questions that remained to be answered, I felt like in this movie, but it was intentional. I mean, this movie was definitely made to make you think. That's why there were like all this like web of characters and different themes and, hidden meanings and stuff like that. But, in the grand scheme of things, I really enjoyed it. I thought the cinematography, the bleak colors and everything, really added to the story like a lot. And yeah, I liked this movie. So it was number 4 for me.
Nice.
All right. Number 3. We're getting close. Top 3.
All right. Number 3 with the bronze medal for me is Bloodfest, a.k.a. Cabin in the Woods, done a little bit better.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Cabin in the Woods was too, like, preachy to me.
Yeah, maybe.
It was preachy.
Yeah, but they are very similar movies. So why did you like Bloodfest so much?
Bloodfest is great because, first of all, you don't expect, like, I didn't expect a horror comedy or a horror with comedy elements, at least. I thought it was going to be like a completely serious movie that was just like, oh, these people are going to this festival where people, celebrate horror, just like Hellfest and American Fright Fest. Thought they were like, hey, let's go check this out. And then people were just going to get killed by like one real killer. But no, like we had zombies and shit. We had vampires that were like injected with like adrenaline. We had Russians, we had
Russia. Yeah. I mean, hey, they are scary.
They are.
Yeah.
But it also had like some really dope kills. I liked the fucking the arborist, was it?
Yeah.
The arborist was pretty fucking dope. This movie talked about a lot of like this was more like Scream, like
yeah, it was very meta.
Yeah, it was like blame movies for like the horrors of people instead of blaming people for being fucked up people.
Yeah.
It had like the same general message, like basically like I don't want to. The dad was like our mortal enemy, like
yeah, kind of like the people that we love, holding us back basically from liking things that we like and living our dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it had to do a lot with the horror genre too, I think, because like the finger gets pointed at a lot of like horror movies when like someone gets butchered or like serial killers get created, even though like it's not their fault. Like if you got a sociopath, he's gonna kill eventually.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't need to watch like Silence of the Lambs to go and kill someone. You
No,
know?
he doesn't.
Maybe he'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of want to eat someone's brains too, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna cause him to go and just murder somebody.
Yeah, no. This movie wasn't too preachy, and it was fun as shit. I liked all the kills. All the kills were like really intense. I don't remember a lot of practical effects. I mean a lot of CGI. I remember mostly practical effects, and like they were done really fucking well.
I agree.
Like it wasn't like a poorly made movie at all. I thought it was gonna be like super low budget, but the acting was great. I liked the cinematography. It was like it had more like comedy movie cinematography though. It wasn't really too suspenseful. At times it would be suspenseful. You get a few jump scares here and there.
Yeah.
But I think this was like one of the more well put together movies of like 2018. Like Halloween seemed like it was just slapped together. Yes, this is a lot better than Halloween in my opinion, and this definitely made it to my top 3. It is my favorite. No, it's not. I take that back. It's not my favorite killer movie
Okay. All right. Interesting.
of this year.
Yeah, I did like this movie a lot too. For me personally, while I really enjoyed it, I enjoyed all the callbacks. This was another movie this year, another trend, where it harkened back to a lot of these like old slasher movies and like said them by name, just a lot of references and little Easter eggs and stuff like that. But I thought it was maybe a little too overtly campy.
Oh, I love that shit.
Yeah. I just thought for me, just slightly, but I think a lot of it was due to the main characters, Robbie K, Jacob Batalon, and Seychelles.
Oh, yeah, they pick people with like funny personalities and they just look goofy. So
yeah, Robbie K as Dax kind of has a goofy looking face. Sorry, bud. I think you're a good actor and stuff, but kind of, so that kind of just that gave the movie like a whole different tone for me, and I do agree it was fun. But for me personally, just kind of had a little too much of that like over campy self-aware, kind of stuff. So I actually liked Cabin in the Woods a little bit more because it had some of those elements, but it was a little bit more serious. And so actually we're kind of opposite there. This movie was number 29 on my list for what it's worth.
nice.
So anything else you want to say about Bloodfest?
Not really. Besides, go watch it.
All right. You heard Samael. So my number 3 movie of the year is Revenge.
Oh shit, I haven't seen that one.
Honestly, dude, this was a really phenomenal movie. And it did garner a little bit of criticism just because, all the sensitive people were like, oh, another feminist movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like this movie a lot. It was directed by Coralie Fargeet. I don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry. But the tagline of this movie is, why do women always have to put up a fight? Which is actually what one of the characters says. But the movie concerns this initially kind of bubbly, ditzy, really attractive woman who goes out with her French stud of a boyfriend to their like little remote villa out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And his 2 scummy friends arrive a day early. They're all supposed to go hunting. And the main guy leaves, and one of the other guys takes advantage of her. And after that, she runs away, obviously scared. Nobody's really helping her out. They chase her down, and her boyfriend, of all people, pushes her off a cliff, and she gets impaled.
What the fuck?
And somehow, she survives. And she goes after them. And that's basically the premise, but this film was fucking awesome. So for one thing, the setting was phenomenal because it's just this like remote villa in, I assume, France or something. But there's this whole like desert. And it's just these 4 people technically, and she's looking for these 3 guys. And for one thing, the movie is super gory. And I actually really like that a lot.
How'd she survive how injured was she?
She basically got impaled on this tree branch that was jutting out, like right here in her midsection. And somehow she like well, I don't want to give a like ton away, but there actually is, for me, kind of a theory that there's kind of a more like either divine or supernatural element in this movie.
Right.
Because she essentially becomes reborn. At least for me, that's how I took it. So yeah, I mean, the question of how she kind of survives is sort of a mystery, but I think that it lends to the complexity of this movie in the face of like its almost simple premise, because you're kind of left wondering like, wow, like how did she survive that? And she goes the entire movie fighting off these 3 armed hunters and, you know, somehow survive. So it was written well because it illustrated a lot of those themes, but it didn't push them so much in your face, you know? So and honestly, in my opinion, like this kind of was a feminist movie, but I don't think it like shoved it down your throat.
Right.
You know, it was more of a movie about this woman who was raped and gets her revenge. It's very similar to like Last House on the Left and exactly, I Spit on Your Grave. So kind of in that same vein, but this is like really bloody, ultra violent. The cinematography is phenomenal. There's a lot of these really like wide shots of like the desert and all these valleys and stuff like that. And the score was very good too. And the ending scene was awesome. So I thought this was a really great movie. And that's why it's at my number 3.
Nice.
So number 2.
Number 2 for me was Incident in a Ghostland.
Okay.
So I liked it a lot more than Halloween, Bloodfest, and Hereditary because it took me on a fucking roller coaster. I didn't know what the fuck was real. You remember we were just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? What is what? Maybe this, maybe that. It kept you guessing. I liked the score. The score was dope. And sometimes it was like hypnotic. I liked and I didn't like how fucked up this movie was.
Yeah.
But shit like this happens, so I guess it's like one of those like, hey, be careful movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like don't leave your doors unlocked while you're bringing in groceries. That was the moral of this movie.
Yeah, basically.
Or, you know, family and unity and not, you know, escaping reality just because you're not, you know, strong enough to face it.
Yeah.
I liked that it was not a no hope movie.
Yeah.
I liked that everyone got what they deserved at the end of this fucking movie, basically.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I think the thing is, though, at the end, I think it still kind of leaves you wondering, like, what really happened. You know? Because it almost seems clean and simple, but when you think about everything that happened in the movie, you're still kind of like, okay, that happened, but did it really happen? Like, is this really how it ends? You know?
Yeah.
At least for me, because she says like one line at the end of it, and I don't want to spoil it, but for the most part, it is kind of a hopeful movie.
Yeah, just like that everyone got what was coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
It did fucking disturb me a lot. Like, it stayed with me after I watched it. Like, I thought about it for a while, and I was just like, God damn it, you know? So,
yeah. I completely agree. Like, I already talked about it for the most part, but number 2 for Samuel, Incident in a Ghostland. All right. My number 2 was Hereditary.
Nice.
So this movie was number 2 for me because initially I wasn't sure about it because, you know, I thought that it was kind of a disjointed movie, you know, like the first like 3/4 of the movie kind of felt like a much different film than the last quarter.
Oh yeah. The last, I want to say 11 to 13 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The whole tone of the movie went like, completely 180, like 180, and then you went blind in one eye. That's how that shit went.
Like 50 to 500.
Yeah.
Basically. So that was basically my initial impression, and I was impressed by the movie itself. You know, for the most part. I mean, Ari Aster, again, this was his debut, you know, like feature film, and this was quite possibly, maybe not against number 1, but maybe the best like directorial job in horror this year.
This was your favorite paranormal movie this year, though, right?
It was technically,
and it was mine too, right? If I'm not, yeah, it was.
Yes,
except it was number 4 for me.
Yeah.
Either way, my favorite paranormal movie of the year.
Yes, yeah. And even though like a lot of the times it didn't really feel like that until like you got, you know, further into the movie, but still, like, even, you know, I loved the last bit of this film, but I still, like, over time I've come to really appreciate the rest of it as well, like in conjunction with that last part, because you know, it really did kind of lead up to it almost really well. I just thought it kind of, there could have been a bit more, but still a phenomenal film. The acting, very good. I think Toni Collette deserves an Oscar, or at least a nomination for this.
Yeah, because when she was flipping the fuck out, she was flipping the fuck out.
Yeah.
And she sawed almost her whole fucking head off.
Yeah. I was going to say...
That was fucked up. That was the most...
Yeah.
That's what really stayed with me after this movie. Besides the kid getting decapitated, was like her cutting her own fucking neck over and over. And how the fuck did she get in that attic? Never mind.
No, I know. It got real weird at the end. It got real weird. But phenomenal performance by her. I was going to say maybe my favorite female performance in a horror movie this year. I might have to give it to Matilda Lutz from Revenge, possibly. I'm not sure. But Toni Collette was definitely a standout. And let's be honest, Hereditary was the biggest story of 2018 in horror.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can deny that.
Yeah, because Halloween was just like, hey, he's out.
Yeah.
Like, that was the fuck.
Basically. But Hereditary was absolutely nuts, the hype surrounding this movie and the reactions to this movie. I mean, because, you know, I remember like when it came out, super polarizing. And initially I didn't like it as much as I do now. But after kind of gestating on it for a bit, you know, I definitely appreciate this movie a lot more because it was very disturbing, you know. Even like the parts that weren't in like the last 30 minutes were super disturbing.
You know what made me realize I really liked it? A week after I watched it, I was like, damn, I want to watch it again. Like already,
yeah. I just wanted to like catch all the little details more, you know, and just be able to like connect all the pieces more and stuff, you know, because I kind of felt like the whole Paimon story was not the central focus, and I feel like if they focus on it a little bit more, it may have been a bit more of an interesting film. But overall, I thought it was amazing. So that's my number 2, Hereditary.
And I'm 99% sure we both have the same number 1 movie.
I believe.
Let me guess. Can I guess? Is your Summer of '84?
It is.
Okay, because that's my number 1 as well.
Yeah. Now, sure, maybe not a lot of people will agree with this as number 1. This was the movie that we watched together.
Well, then I disagree with them.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
We watched this movie together, so maybe there was a little bias on that end. But this was the one movie this year, I think, where we were both like, holy shit.
Dude, it was the score, cinematography. Those were like 10 out of 10 for me. Especially the score, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a coming of age movie. It was a big mystery, and it kept you guessing. Like there was, I guess what it was missing was like the red herring was there, but everyone knew that wasn't the guy. You know what I mean? Like once he got apprehended, we knew like that's not him.
Yeah.
Because ironically, it happened after something. You remember? It was like, we're gonna find this guy, and they found him. It's like, well, that was almost too easy.
Yeah. No, I do. The red herring was good. I mean, I'll just say that I thought this was the best written horror film of the year.
It was.
You know, it was
flat out.
And it was a horror film, but at the same time, like you said, it was this small town, suburban kind of serial killer slasher movie.
And that was the whole narrative.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
because the craziest things happen up in the suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't really like veer off into any like unnecessary subplots or anything. I liked all the characters a lot. Really, the only like kind of subplot even was the romance.
I was gonna say his little girlfriend.
Yeah, between Davy and was it Nikki? I think.
I think so. Yeah.
The whole kind of romance between them was kind of stuff. But even then, I was like, kind of like, all right, kid, you go get it. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
So even that I thought was really well written, because that kind of did feel like something that, you know, could happen. And that's what this whole movie kind of was. And so I thought it was pretty realistic, but at the same time, it was super brutal.
It was brutal, and it like I said, bro, the mystery was like the best part of this. It kept you guessing. The window scene with the walkie-talkie,
That was good.
that shit was hardcore. And like the shock value in this fucking movie. You don't expect like the ending to go like the way it does with the fat kid.
Not at all, dude.
Oh,
the ending
man.
was actually probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
And it led up to it so perfectly.
I still remember that fucking score, bro. Like,
Dude, the score. I need the score. I need to buy a vinyl player, and I need to buy the vinyl.
are you gonna buy a Blu-ray of Summer of '84?
Oh yeah, I think it's already out, but I bought it on Amazon Prime, I think. But shit, I would buy the Blu-ray again.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
It was that good. I was like, I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I just didn't. I gotta watch it again too. I'm using your Shutter, so it's like,
Yeah.
like I really don't have like the need to buy it, but like I just want to buy it.
No, I totally.
I'm probably gonna
understand.
get Hereditary too in all these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hereditary especially because I can't just watch that one.
Yeah.
Last time
hear
I had to buy it off fucking Comcast, so
Yeah, it's not that widely available anymore. Although I think it might be coming to one of the streaming services.
that'd be
possibly.
cool.
I don't know.
Well, it's on Amazon Prime. You can rent it.
Yeah. But Summer of 84 is right on Shudder. So I mean, if you haven't seen it, go watch it because
Dude, that's honestly that's going down in my top 10 movies of all time.
damn, yeah. I mean, the tension was palpable. You could cut through it, with a knife sometimes. And I just really loved the suspense in this movie as well. And I thought that the antagonist was written very well.
I agree.
And honestly, I can even see how a lot of the writing is kind of basic almost, but at the same time, I don't
Occam's
feel
razor.
like it is. Yeah.
Occam's razor. The
Exactly,
simplest
yeah.
solution is usually the best.
Yeah.
And we saw that with this movie. I didn't know that this movie was gonna be as good as it was.
Yeah.
Like I just saw like posters for it, and like the fucking cover art looked super retro,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't fucking disappoint.
Yeah. And I didn't want to hate it, but I almost didn't really want to put it as my number one just because this year, I think one of the biggest trends was this, like 80s love letter, where a
Yeah.
lot of movies are using like the synth kind of 80s inspired soundtrack.
Well, Halloween definitely did.
Yeah. And, a lot of movies are doing that. A lot of movies are shooting editing, I guess, kind of grainy and all that just to kind of simulate that because everyone who's pretty much alive at this point and is a horror fan loves the 80s or
Oh,
at
yeah.
least, understands their influence. So, but I thought it fit this movie absolutely perfectly just because it didn't really focus like too much on the whole 80s aspect. It was
didn't.
kind of there in the background, but it was more of just this story of these young kids in the 80s, coincidentally, in this small town going up against who they think is a serial killer.
I can't wait to see like the sequels to this or the sequel to this because now it's 2018. What has happened since then? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like in this story, like what has happened in this universe
Yeah.
since it's 2018 now? Like
Well, I mean, I don't know. They might just make it like a year later or something, even possibly.
Summer of 85 doesn't sound as good.
No, not at all.
Summer of 86 though, that sounds more.
That sounds pretty good.
2 years later he comes back.
Summer,
That's 2.
Summer of 96 or something like that, maybe. 94, maybe 10 years later.
Or summer of like 01.
Ah,
He comes back like 17 years later
maybe.
when the kid's like fucking 32 years old and he's old ass man.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot I think they could do with it, but the ending definitely left open-ended.
That's what I like.
I really wish that they don't just leave it off here, because I do want to find out what happens. This almost to me is like the new
Disturbia.
No, I was gonna say this is almost the new like the relationship between the main character and the killer is almost like the new Charlie and the guy from Fright Night.
Oh shit! Yeah. Holy fuck! Yeah.
Kind of, at least to me. Like I think that their like dynamic is kind
Oh
of.
yeah, because
like
it's
that.
kind of like, hey, you fucker, I know it's you, and then
Yeah.
that guy's like, does he know it's me? Nah, he doesn't. Does he? Like like
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I mean,
well, Fright Night's the best.
oh yeah. So yeah, we both have the same number one. Maybe a little bit of like bias watching it together, but I thought it was
Still,
the
though,
best
it was-
movie of the year.
It was the best movie of the year.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a better movie. Show me one.
Yeah, it was the one that I was like,
Not even horror movie. This is the best movie this year.
yeah. And this was a surprise to us too, because we didn't really hear that much or know that much about it.
Yeah.
And it knocked it out of the park.
This was just one of those, we saw the poster, so we were like, hey, let's check this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and don't forget one of the I think it was one of the screenwriters or producers of this movie.
Oh yeah, they replied to us on
replied
Twitter.
back to us. So
Watching Summer of 84, like, hope you love it. I know I do.
yeah, I certainly did, and you did as well, Samuel. It's our
Yeah.
number one horror film of 2018.
Find it, buy it,
Mhm.
watch it.
Yeah, if you have Shudder, it's worth $5.
It
Go
really
check
is.
it out. So
if you don't have Shutter, buy VRV.
yeah, either way. So that's our top 10 lists. I do want to post my full list. We both have a thing on Letterboxd. We could probably post the links if you're interested in checking out the whole list. You can do that. We'll probably post it to our social media and our website. So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for Grave Discussions or Grave Disc SRD on Twitter. And you can check out our website at gravediscussions.net. So that's going to do it. 2018 is officially over. And we'll see you all in 2019.
We'll see you next year on Grave Discussions. Haha.
This has been an SRD production.